Hi, my name is Kristen Madden. As the archivist at the History Museum, I know that photos are a great way to document our history. From a 1920s photo of a child playing in the snow to a digital image of a new business opening, pictures help tell our history. Please join me as we take a look back at some of the vintage photos in our collection.
Hello everyone! In today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the Standpipe of South Bend and its use in fighting fires for the city. During the 1800s, much of South Bend's development centered on the industrial complex of factories located on its two races. In 1852, Henry Studebaker set up Studebaker Wagon Shop. In 1868, Singer started producing cabinets for their famous sewing machines, and in 1876, the Oliver Chill Plow Works opened for production. Although these businesses helped build South Bend into one of the most prominent cities in the Midwest, a concern grew in the minds of its people. The risk of fire was extremely common in those early days. The combination of coal-powered machinery, crowding, and wooden buildings made cities extremely dangerous. A stray flame could cause a raging fire, wiping out whole areas of a city with little issue. The Great Chicago Fire raged for 3 days in October 1871, destroying 4 miles of city blocks and causing, in today's currency, billions of dollars in damage. And on September 5, 1872, an equally devastating fire ravaged Mishawaka. So it's not surprising that during this time, South Bend seriously began considering a more advanced system for piping water through the city to assist in fighting fires. At this time, citizens were relying on well or river water, and the fire department was using 30 cisterns distributed throughout the city. In the 1871-72 Turner's South Bend Directory, it talks about the process of considering specific options for a centralized water system. Quote, "A company has recently been formed for the purpose of erecting Holly Water Works and furnishing the city with pure water from the St. Joseph River. Action has, however, been deferred for the year 1871, it being considered too late in the season to commence operations. Another year will, doubtless, see this important work completed. A good system of waterworks will be highly advantageous to South Bend, although we have at present an abundance of most excellent water for domestic use, furnished by wells, while 30 public cisterns, entirely self-supplying, are distributed throughout the city for fighting fires. These cisterns are 6 feet in diameter with a minimum depth of 6 feet of water. No steam fire engine can make any perceptible diminution in the depth. These cisterns form an extraordinary means of protection against fires and, in connection with well-organized and efficient fire department, serve greatly to reduce the premium on insurance. We have one first-class steam fire engine which will soon be duplicated. Few cities have so good protection against the ravages of fire as South Bend, and few during the past 5 years have suffered so little." In 1871, 3 solutions were proposed by the people in the city. Holly Water Works devised a plan to pump river water directly into the main pipelines, while others felt that a reservoir system was the most appropriate option. Another group, led by Leighton Pine, then superintendent of the Singer Sewing Machine Company, advocated for a standpipe, a vertical structure designed to store water. In 1872, South Bend continued in their dedication to a new water delivery system by electing water commissioners. This group contracted Holly Water System on March 20th, 1873, but on May 6th of that year, city voters chose the standpipe system suggested by Leighton Pine. These 2 choices led to a debate, and according to the 1916 Indiana Centennial, J.M. Studebaker believed that the standpipe system would not be sufficient for the needs of South Bend. he wagered a cow that the system would not be able to deliver a stream of water above the belfry of the Studebaker foundry. The Standpipe, however, had the support of most of the city council, as well as Mayor William Miller, and construction would begin shortly afterwards. The principle behind a standpipe is that water is pumped vertically into a multi-story building, and the resulting pressure helps distribute water through the main pipelines. At the center of South Bend's structure was an iron pipe, constructed into one piece on the ground, measuring 5 feet in diameter and 200 feet high, that could hold 30,000 gallons of water from the St. Joseph River. The junction of Pearl Street, Jefferson Boulevard, and Carroll Streets were chosen for the location of the standpipe. Today, this would place it in Century Center's parking lot. The greatest challenge in construction ended up being raising the pipe off the ground to its standing height. The tube, after all, weighed 43,382 pounds, and it had to be placed on a 24-foot cast iron base weighing 10,920 pounds. This was a tremendous engineering feat for the time. A similar attempt in Toledo, Ohio, resulted in the falling and breaking of the standpipe when it had only been lifted halfway up. Not surprisingly, the process drew thousands of spectators throughout the 3-day venture to lift it. Slowly, inch by inch, the standpipe reached its final position at 11 a.m. November 17, 1873. On Christmas Day of 1874, the system was successfully demonstrated, highlighted by the wager between J.M. Studebaker and Leighton Pine. Studebaker and former Vice President Schuyler Colfax stood in the belfry of Studebaker Foundry, wholeheartedly believing they would remain safe and dry. They were quickly proven wrong and were promptly soaked by the oncoming water. Pine had won the bet, and the cow was auctioned off for the benefit of the Ladies' Benevolent Aid Society. Despite the success of the system, the standpipe was not yet ready for use to the public. A winding wooden stairway of 290 steps had to be built around the pipe from the ground to the top, allowing regular inspections of the pipe. And nearly 250,000 bricks were used to construct the structure seen from the street that encased the pipe and stairs. Atop it all was a 25-foot cupola, which had a 4-foot ball at the very peak. The standpipe's primary purpose was to supply high-pressure water to fire hydrants, and it was a critical element in South Bend's fire system until it was gradually replaced in the early 1900s. Due to the city's quickly spreading borders, a series of pumping stations were erected, making the standpipe obsolete. The standpipe finally was torn down in 1930, bringing an end to its 57-year dominance over South Bend's skyline.
Thank you for joining me today. This program is a part of our Look Back series. You can find more vintage photos at historymuseumsb.org. Just click on the Look Back icon on our homepage. We're always interested in adding more images to our archives, whether photographs or digitals, from 100 years ago or today. So please contact me if you're interested in donating to our collection. See you next time!